The valet's words cut through the hum of the event. Visitor parking only. I nodded, stepping past the chrome and glass, hiding a smirk I didn't yet understand. An hour later he ran to me, chest heaving, face pale. "Sir, I just checked the ownership records. This is your parking garage." I didn't move. I let him panic, let him see the walls closing in. It should have been a celebration, my wife's promotion at the firm. But I wasn't here for champagne. I was here for a reckoning. I remember the first time I met her. She had that laugh that made the world seem smaller, warmer, like you could conquer everything if you just held her hand. I fell in love with that warmth, with the brilliance behind it. She made promises with her eyes, whispered forever without words, and I believed every one of them. Years later, I discovered the truth. A subtle shift. The way her phone never left her hand. The way she smiled at him, the new client, the friend, with a familiarity that made my stomach hollow. I caught glimpses of texts, glimpses of laughter I didn't belong in. At first, I questioned myself. Was I paranoid? But then came the undeniable proof, a single forwarded email, meant for him, mistakenly sent while she was sipping wine in the other room. Names, dates, an entire clandestine life I had never signed up for. Heartbreak isn't sudden. It is meticulous. It creeps. But I didn't scream. I didn't confront. I watched. I learned. I planned. The shift was instantaneous once I realized how deep the betrayal ran. I wasn't going to fight fire with fire. I would orchestrate a blaze she couldn't escape. I started with the financials. Not money, not directly. I traced every shell company, every offshore account, every vanity project she thought was invisible. Everything she thought was untouchable now had my fingerprints. I didn't touch a thing I couldn't prove. I built a map of her empire of lies, tracing lines from her boardroom to the backroom favors, the hushed deals, the side contracts she thought were secret. Then came the social strategy, quiet whispers to the right people, gentle nudges in the right direction, a subtle email here, a casual remark there. Each move invisible, each consequence inevitable. I watched her confidence grow, ignorant of the foundation I had quietly dismantled. And then I struck, timed perfectly. I didn't need a confrontation. The walls crumbled on their own. The investors questioned her integrity. The partners questioned her judgment. The boardroom became a cage, and she was inside it. Tonight I watched her at the event, radiant in silk and pearls, unaware that the ground beneath her was already gone. I smiled, calm, collected. Let the valet deliver the message. Let the irony sink in. She never understood the first wave of my plan. How could she? She had spent years believing in her cleverness. But tonight she learned, visually, painfully, completely. Her empire, her carefully constructed life, all tied to a garage I had quietly secured months ago. The valet's words weren't just a statement of fact, they were the final act in a silent symphony of retribution. "Sir, this is your parking garage." And yes, I nodded, calmly, no rush, no triumphal cry, just a quiet, undeniable ownership. I let her see it, the subtle panic flicker across her eyes when she realized her access was gone. The way she checked her phone, hoping for some loophole, some invisible key. There was none. Her gaze found mine. I didn't flinch. I let her digest the precision of my revenge. The way every decision, every calculation had been designed to land here, in this room, at this precise moment. And then I walked away, slowly, watching her unravel in slow motion, Not with malice, but with inevitability. I left her to the consequences of her choices. Let her own the shame and disbelief. Let the world witness the elegance of my restraint and her fall. Back home, I poured a glass of whiskey, letting the burn mirror the relief that coursed through me. I didn't feel victorious, not really. That's a cheap emotion. I felt balanced. Justice, precise and clean, does not need celebration. It only requires execution. I reflected on the lessons she taught me without intending to. How trust can be weaponized, how love can blind, how power can corrupt. I learned patience, observation, subtlety. I learned to wait for the perfect moment. And I learned that revenge isn't about rage, it's about timing, intelligence, and control. She will rebuild, of course. She will adapt. But she will never forget that tonight, in the mirrored reflection of her ambition, she saw me, calm, unshaken, untouchable. She will never forget that the very foundation she believed was hers was quietly, elegantly mine.